here the data type which you are defining is a string. So this variable is a string variable. String is a data type. So that's why they are defining, like whenever you are defining a certain variable like message, so that variable you need to tell what type of data type is. So is it a string, or is it a number, integer, or is it a float kind of thing? So same as like here, let's space message colon string. So we are defining this variable is a string data type, and then we guys have given some text for it, hello TypeScript. And of course, same as like everything, console.log of message. So likewise, we have created one TypeScript file, and now we are going to compile it. To compile it, you can use the keyword like tsc space your TypeScript file, like any file. Okay, here we have sample ts, right? So whenever I'm typing tsc space sample.ts, if I'm hitting enter, you'll be really thinking it's great, because the compilation is the process of here to convert your ts file into a additional JavaScript file. And now you can see the difference between the ts TypeScript file and the JavaScript file. So once it completed this compilation process, now it automatically generated another JavaScript code. So where space message is equals to hello TypeScript and console.log. Just carefully watch. So here we guys have defined the data type like string, and let's space the variable name colon and data type. But here it directly defined as like var space the variable name and is equals to the data for that certain variable and console.log of message. So whenever you are giving that, and whenever you have compiled it, it automatically create the JavaScript file, and then you already know how to execute this. So simply you just can able to execute it with the help of node space sample.js. Whenever you're reading enter, ta-da, you can see hello TypeScript. So this is the message we have got. So guys, is it super clear? Okay, is it simple? So that is what it's all about. So here we are creating one TypeScript file, and whenever you are compiling it, it created a JavaScript file. And whenever, of course, as usual, whenever you are really executing the JavaScript file with the help of node space JavaScript file, and it is going to give you an output like this. Okay, this is what it's all about. Now what we are going to do is we are going to explore some of the basic syntaxes and those things. So on that aspects, I really want to show you this. It is just a it is not a like project or something. It is just to understand this TypeScript. We are really exploring this. Just carefully watch. Whenever you really want to define a Boolean kind of variable like true or false, that need to be initialized with like colon Boolean. Boolean is a data type. And if it is a number, you need to specify it as a number. If it is a string, you need to define as a string. So this name is very simple. So you can just change the name like those things. It can be done like even you can just change like this. Okay, so here John Doe, it is a string. So that's why we guys have specified that data type as a string. And if you really need to initialize a list, so that can be done with the help of like this. Okay, number of the square braces which is going to define it is going to be as a list. So inside the list we guys have added elements like 1, 2 and 3. So if you want to define the data type as a list data type, you need to define it with the help of number with square braces. And after that we need to define, if you really wanted to define a tuple, you need to define as like let space tuple colon string comma number. So likewise you can able to define it. So either the first value which is going to be in the format of like string type, and second value which is going to be in the format of like number type. So likewise we can able to define the tuple. On that tuple you need to feed the data, because right now we guys have only defined the data type, right? So in the tuple we guys have inside the two actually inside the square braces we have two elements. Number one element is a string data type, another one element is a number data type. So for the tuple we need to feed the data into it. So to define or to feed the data into it, tuple is equals to, for the first data we guys have defined that is a string data type. So that's why hello with the single quotes which has been passed, because it is nothing but a string. And here we have a number. So number is nothing but, of course, it can be 10, 12 or 100 or anything. So that's why we guys have passed the 10 for the second argument. So This is how you can able to define. And while talking about enum, so here we are defining color. So color is going to be a property. For that color property, which is going to hold down different values, it can be a red, or it can be a green, or it can be blue. So that's how we guys are defined. Like color is kind of like defining something like property, and for that color we are having an options like red, green, blue, and etc. And for that we are going to initialize another variable, like let space c colon colon color. We are really calling this color is equals to color dot green. So this is how you need to access a certain value from the enum, because enum which is having that color is a property which is having options like red, green, blue, and if you want to access that certain specific green or something, you need to access it with the help of color dot green. So that property name dot the value. So that's how you can able to access. Okay guys, are you all getting some precise information? We guys have learned to use boolean, we guys have learned to use a number and string and list and tuple and enum, as well as we guys have used the let. So let, we are defining one variable. For that variable, we guys are passed this color as a type. Okay, we are not defining in the number. We are not defining like string or something. Instead, we guys have simply defined this enum property called color is equals to colors dot green. So what the C will be? C is nothing gonna be a kind of like green color. So that's what we guys have defined it. So this is how you can able to initialize the variable with different data types. And now if you really want to explore the function, so for that also I've created one code for you. Look out that. First, here you can see two word called function. So this is word number one and this is word number two. And so what it means it has two function. So this is function number one and this is function number two. And if you are clearly noticed, now always you just remember, whenever you are really having a function like this is a function definition, because there they have written something like return space x plus y. So they have written something into it. So that is what the function definition. And if you have clearly noticed, function space add, that is a function name. For that function name, it is going to add two number, x comma y. But since we are in the TypeScript, we are defining like x colon number. So x is a number data type, and y is also going to be a number. So that's why y is also a number data type, colon number. Okay, so all over the complete add function is a number. So that's why all over after completing add function, I mean add with the parenthesis and those things, after we have kept another colon and we are defining as a number. Okay, so guys, right now what I can do is I can just convert as a what to say. First, I'll convert as a JavaScript. Then you'll understand what we guys have literally did. Simply, we are defining the data type of x as a number, y as a number, add function as a number. That's what we have did. Even you can see this is the JavaScript file. Guys, is it clear? So here, this is your function one. So the same function add, we guys have passed two argument, x comma y. Here also same x comma y, but we are defining x is having a data type like number, and y is also data type is a number, and the whole complete add function is also data type we are defined as a number. That's what we have did, and which is going to return x plus y. So which is going to do addition of two numbers, and it is going to return it. And now you can see we guys have defined a variable called result with the help of let results data type is also going to be number, and into the function called add, we are passing two argument. One is 2, another one is a 3. So add of 2 comma 3. So whenever you are really passing it, so console.log of result, whenever you are really about to print that results, there's 2 which is going to be passed here. So 2 is a number, and 3 which is going to be passed for y. So y is also going to be number. The whole complete addition function is also a number. So because it should not do concatenation, right? For an example, let me define, and also just carefully see the output is 5. And now in the number, if I'm going to define is like string, okay, you can see return, whenever you are really hovering it, the number is not assignable to a string type, because so here we are passing this two values as a number. Okay, that's what it's all about. Even if you are putting a string, and here also if I'm putting string, so look at that. So now again it is showing some warnings. So let result number. Okay, so this is how it is really showing you. So that is what is all about, because here we guys have defined just a number. So again, you really wanted to do like such kind of things, okay, to pass as an argument. Okay, so it is all about defining the variable. Okay, defining the variable and assigning a certain data type for it. So that's what is all about. So now what we are just doing is, here we have already defining everything as a normal number like this before. And when we have printed console.log, we guys have got an output like 5, because 2 comma 3, which is going to be passed in terms of x comma y. So which we guys have got as a 5. A same as like right now we'll go for the another function. The function name is build name. So inside the build name, carefully watch. Here it has first name colon string. So here also it is having two parameter. Okay, one is first name and another parameter is the last name, same as like x comma y. Just carefully watch, guys. It might be looking a bit different from other. First name is also like instead of x, here we have first name, and instead of y, here we have the last name. But carefully remember, even though this is defined as a number and this is defined as a string, it's not at all a problem. But other than that, here we have this question mark. What does it mean by this question mark near to the variable? The question mark is going to define that variable is an optional variable. You can give or you don't want to give. It is just up to your option. Same as like the other function, we have defined this build name function. This build name function, which is going to carry out two important parameter. First name is a parameter, last name is a parameter. First name is a mandatory parameter because we haven't defined like question mark after and the suffix of the variable. Instead, in this last name, we guys have given the question mark. And also we guys have defined that as a string. And carefully watch. Here list return last name question mark. This is like string literals kind of thing, where it is going to fetch the first name which you are given as an argument. Here the John is going to be passed, and again the dollar with the last name colon first name. So what is the meaning of this, Sanjay? Very simple. Since we have defined the last name as an optional, first of all it is going to check whether last name is there. If the last name is there, it is going to concatenate the string like first name space last name. Okay, first name space last name. Else it is going to return the first name. Just carefully watch. Here we are defining like Sanjay. Okay, so I'm just going to define it, and now I'm just going to compile it. And once it got compiled, now I'm just going to run this code. So whenever you have got this code, we have got an output like Sanjay. What does it mean? We guys have passed only one argument for the first name. Since because last name is an optional, because there is a question mark near to it, so you don't want to specify. It's up to you. Okay, so you can just define it or not want to define it. It's just an optional thing. So that's why here when Sanjay is being passed here, first it is going to check whether the last name is there. If not, if there is no last name, it is directly jumping on to printing the first name. That's why Sanjay got printed. But the same is like if I'm gonna have Sanjay space Kumar or something, and if I'm going to recompile it again, and if I'm going to run this, now the second name which it got exist. Since because second name got exist, I mean last name got exist, which is going to print the first name space last name. Are you clear? Okay, are you clear? Even you can just make it ulta or something. Okay, so carefully watch. Sanjay Kumar. So this is what the first name which I've given, and I'm going to give the another last name like AP. And what I'm going to do is to have a better understanding. Let me put last name first and space, and I'm going to put the first name. So this is what which I've did. Okay. So now whenever I'm going to compile it, and right now carefully watch, here we guys have called the function and we have assigned to the new variable called result. But here we are not defining any other additional new variable to call the function. Simply we have called a certain function called build name inside the print message console.log itself. Okay, now whenever I'm executing it, look at that. Here we have got Sanjay Kumar space AP. So likewise, we just got this output. Okay, are you clear about it? So this is what is all about. So I hope you have got some idea on it. So Sanjay Kumar AP. So this is how we have passed two argument into it. Okay. So yeah, that's what it is all about. I'm sorry. So this is first string. I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put like this AP, and I'm just going to compile it because we really want to pass two arguments, right? So we guys are defined in this way, and whenever I'm completing it, look how that AP space Sanjay Kumar, how it just happened, because we guys have passed two arguments. This is gonna be your first name, this is gonna be your last name. So whenever you are passing two argument, so first name is mandatory, it automatically is going to take Sanjay Kumar, and last name, it is going to check whether there is any other additional argument or not. If there is any additional argument, it is going to pick up that last name, that second argument as a last name, and then in the return statement it is going to print out that message like last name. If the last name is exist, then it is going to do the concatenation of last name space first name. So last name is AP and first name is Sanjay Kumar. That's what it is printed, like AP space Sanjay Kumar. And if there is no last name, it is going to simply print the first name. That's it. Okay, I hope you have got a clear idea about this function. And now we are moving on to the interfaces. And now we'll check out the interfaces. Interfaces is also going to be very simple. Just carefully see. Okay, here we guys have defining one variable called user. So in the user, we are passing, inside the curly braces, it's like kind of like dictionary. First name is the property. And for that key or property, we guys have defined the value like John. And last name, which is going to be there. For the last name, we guys have defined the value called Doe. So likewise, we have got this user. And once you have got this, now we are going to pass into the greet user. Okay, pass into the greet function. So here we have already created a function like greet, and for the greet it is going to take person as an argument. Person is gonna be a person. So likewise, we guys have defined something like person. Just carefully watch. This person is not a number, is not a string, is not a other kind of data type. We guys are defined those data type into the interface kind of option. In the interface person, we guys are defined the first name as a string, last name is a string, age is a number. So likewise, we guys have defined it. Okay, just carefully watch. So here we guys are defining Sanjay, and okay, so I'm just defining like AP. And if you have any other additional variable like age, because here age is being given as an optional, so that's why now I'm just going to give age as 28 or something. And whenever you are really defining it, and whenever you have compiled it, and once it is compiled, I'm just going to run this. Right now we have got hello comma Sanjay AP. This is what the message we have got. How we have got? So we guys have defined one variable called user. In that user variable, it is having three property: first name, last name, age. For those three property, there are three values: Sanjay, AP, 28. So that three things here. In defining here, we haven't defined, is it a number, is it a string, or is it any other data type. We haven't defined it. Instead, we guys are simply passing three things inside the curly braces. We have defined one variable. That user variable, which is having all these three values and keys, we are passing into the greet function. And in the greet function, we need to define that person : so which is going to call this interface. So in the interface, we guys have defined what is the first name data type is it is string. What is the data type of last name? It is also a string. What is the data type of age? Which is a number. So likewise, I have defined everything inside the interface. And now whenever we are really running this application, so hello comma Sanjay AP, because here we have got printed like hello comma and a person dot first name, which is nothing but first name is a string, so it is going to pick up the Sanjay and it is going to print here. And after person dot last name, so here what is that person is, again it is going for the interface. Person dot last name is also a string, so that the string which is also going to be printed. And then even if you really wanted the age or something, you can just define in this way. Okay, so you can define like person dot age. Okay, you can just type the age to print this. So again, I'm going to compile it, and I'm just going to run this, and you can see the output. Ta-da! Hello, comma. That's what we have printed. Sanjay AP. That's what Sanjay is the first name and AP is the last name. And person dot age, which is just printed the 28. That's what we have got from this TypeScript. That is mean by interface. Okay, are you all? Did you guys have got clear idea on the interface? If you have got it, you just post IGT in your live chat. And after that, now we are moving on to the classes. I hope you already know the classes, like where you can able to define the property like public, protected, private kind of thing. So while talking about the classes, we are defining, and even if you want to see this, the previous function which we have created, the function, greet functions and everything, how it really converted and everything, you can see. So in the JavaScript, you need to write the function like concatenation to merge two things together. So that's how the JavaScript code just converted. Guys, whatever the changes which you are doing in the TypeScript, please try to see the change which has been happening in the JavaScript, so that you can able to get a clear idea on the JavaScript. So now in the TypeScript, we guys are going to create one variable. So let's paste dog is equals to new animal dog. So here animal is nothing but your class name. So for that animal, we are passing one value like a dog. So here, just carefully watch. So here class animal private name colon string. So as a private, we guys are defined name as a string, and then we are doing a constructor of name colon string. So this dot name is equals to name. So we are really defining it and an object to print that to get that name, and public move of distance colon number colon avoid. So here for the distance, we are defining the variable, data type like number, and throughout the whole complete move function, we are defining as a void because it is nothing to return anything. And console.log of this dot name moved distance meter. So this is what we guys have did. And now just observe the output, because here we have dog.move. Carefully watch. Here there are two calls happening. One is this animal, which is a class which we have created. So inside that, there is a private name which has been assigned. And in the constructor, we guys have really moving that name variable. And after that, in the public, which it can be accessed by from any places in throughout the program. So that's what is all defined inside the public. And now I'm just going to compile this code. Now just see the output, and also just try to observe how it has been displayed in the JavaScript as well. And now dog moved 10 meter. So how it just got printed, because first it is going to access the class, the animal with a dog as a passing variable. And now once that name, which is going to be, the dog which is going to be passed, so this dot name, which is going to hold down the value called dog. And inside the public, we guys are defined move of distance. Here we have already defined dog dot move of 10. So this dog is the already we guys have defined it. So dog dot like creating like an object. So dog dot move of 10. So move here, it is already got a number which is a 10, and it is going to return nothing. And console.log of this name. So this dot name, which is already holding the dog. So this dot name, instead in this place, you will be having that dog, and moved, which is like a string. Okay, nothing but it is a string. And again, string literals. With the help of this, we are fetching the distance value. What is the distance value? Which is nothing but a 10. So that distance value which it got fetched, and m dot, which is inside this single quotes, which is going to define it as a string. So that output we have got as a dog moved 10 meter. So that is what is all about the class. And now we are moving on to the advanced types, which you can able to define it like if you really want to cross verify it or something, that can be done. Just carefully watch. We are defining like type space string or number is equals to string, vertical line like representing our number. and let's sample string or number. So whenever you are really defining it, so you can see hello, sample is equal to, we are defining as hello as a string, and another sample we are defining as a number. So function is string of x colon any, so which is going to consider like any data type, colon x is a string, and return type of x double equals to string. So it is going to just check it out whether what type of string it is. So this is what, so first of all, we guys have compiled it, and now whenever I'm going to run like node space sample.js, now just see the JavaScript, you will get a even more clear idea. So where is a sample? So we guys have defined one variable like sample. It's nothing. Okay, it is not defined as like anything. But the same variable like sample, we guys are defined as a string value like hello. And then we guys are defining a number. So 1, 2, 3. And function is string of x. It is like unknown variable kind of thing. Unknown variable kind of thing. Okay, it is going to consider that. So is string of x, return type of x triple equals to string. So it is like finding out whether it is a string or something, returning that whether it is a string or not. So kind of comparison. So is string kind of comparison, that's what it has been done. Okay, even you can also try to change this variable again into a string, and you can able to do that kind of comparison as well. So this is what is the equivalent JavaScript for this. So you can just go through it. Here we have defining like type string or number is equals to string or number, and let's sample. And again, we have defined like string or number, kind of same thing. So at the top, we guys have defined the type, right? So same as like we guys have called that, and sample is equals to hello, sample is equals to 1, 2, 3, and we guys have defined, created a function of is string x colon any colon x is string. So like it is like to defining or to finding out whether it is a string or not, and and return type of x, so which is whether it is going to be a string or is it going to be a number. So that's what we guys have did here. Okay, this is what some advanced types. And finally we have something called modules. So modules is very simple, just carefully watch. Here I'm going to create one module dot ts. Okay, so like for an example, I'm going to create one new file like module dot ts. Okay, we guys have created export constant pi is equals to 3.14, and export function calculate circumference, which is diameter. Like we are passing one argument as a diameter, and this function's output is also going to be in the data type like number, and return diameter multiples of pi. Okay, pi r, I hope you already know what is meant by pi r. So pi is 3.14 and r is nothing but the radius, but here we guys have did diameter. So diameter multiples of pi. So that's what one module which has been created. And even if you want to create another functions like create main.ts, so now I have instead of creating any other new file, so I already have sample.ts. In that sample.ts we can have like this: import space pi comma calculated circumferences from the module. So that's what we have did. Okay, so here you can just define it like this. Okay, so module. So whenever you are really defining it, it is going to access that ts which we have. So whenever you are doing console dot log of calculate circumferences, so 10 which is going to be multiplied with 3.14. Okay, so guys, are you clear? So this is what the sample TypeScript which we guys have covered. So what you guys do is the task is go and check out TypeScript documentation and try to write a TypeScript code and compile it and get the respective JavaScript code and get the output and how each and every syntax is working, how you can able to modify it. And if you have any existing JavaScript code, try to write that same JavaScript code in a TypeScript so that you'll be getting even more clear idea on the TypeScript. So why we guys have covered the TypeScript right now? Because this Angular, which is all based on the TypeScript. Even you can use the JavaScript, but here we are really going to explore the TypeScript like how each and everything is changed, and the same application we are going to create it with the help of this Angular, of course, with the help of the TypeScript. Now, we'll going for the hands-on. On talking about the hands-on, I hope you all remember the previous output of the React. So, like how the view is being gone. I hope you all remember it is having a header section, and inside the header it is going to have one title and navigation menu with three options: home, to do, about us page, and in the home page. And when people are clicking home page and about us, it is just a simple text. But whenever people are clicking to do, we guys wanted to implement the state management, and which each and every task, whenever they are in typing in and they are hitting enter, that task need to be appended, that state need to be completely managed properly. And also when scrolling down, you can see that footer. So that is what we guys have did with the help of the React. So just have that code parallelly. Now we are going to work on the Angular to build the same project we guys have created before. So what is the thing is, first you need to install Angular command line interface. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this directory in my Visual Studio Code, because I'm just going to install the Angular CLI and I'm going to create some project. So this is the old folder. I'm not going to disturb that folder right now. So instead, I'm just going for the new terminal. And once we are into the new terminal, we are going to install the Angular CLI first. And once that Angular CLI is been installed, now it's time to create an Angular application. Guys, always try to compare and learn how we have created project on React. So what you just do is you just hide this, and you just have your React got opened. And in the React opening, so you just remember how we have created a React application. So here we guys have created a React application with the help of create React app function. So npx space create React app and the the application name. That's how we have created a React application. Same as like if you want to create an Angular application, this is what the command. So before that, let us complete installing the Angular CLI. So npm space install space -g @angular/CLI. So what it will do, it will install the Angular CLI. I mean, CLI is nothing but command line interface, because if you want to execute Angular space or ng space kind of any command, if it wanted to work, you should have that CLI first in your system. So that's why we are installing npm space install space -g @angular/CLI. And now if you are seeing how to create an application in React, that can be done with the help of this command. But right now, if you wanted to create an application using Angular, the command is ng. Ng is here is nothing but an Angular. Ng space new space my to do app. So my to do app is nothing but your application name. So previously we have given the application name is like a task manager React. Same as like here, the application name is my to do app. That's what the application name we have. Okay, so now okay, it is just giving a warning. Just let us skip the warning a bit right now. So now let us wait to install the Angular CLI in this environment. So we have got these packages, okay, added packages and everything is done. Now it's time to create a new app. Now carefully watch. Whenever you are executing the command ng space new space your application name, now we guys have got an error. So what is the error is, just carefully watch. Node.js version 18.17.1 detected, but Angular CLI requires a minimum Node.js version of version 18.19. Version 18.19 is needed, but I have version 18.17. Guys, always majority of the time what people will be doing is people will be directly installing what it is asking me to do. Okay, so like to install new Node.js version 18.19. That's what most of the people do. Just remember one thing. Whenever you are installing anything with the help of the command prompt, like especially installing a CLI, we guys have executed that CLI command like npm space install space -g angular/CLI. Whenever you are installing this kind of command line interface from the command prompt, it will automatically install some newest version. So since because it is using a newest version of command line interface of Angular, again, it is demanding for to have newest version of Node.js. That's what the error we have got, because you can see there is nothing, no application has been created. So there is a two way. One way, you can create to-do application by installing the newest version of Node.js, and then you can create the new to-do app with the help of this command. That is the way number one. Or way number two is you can uninstall the existing Angular CLI which you have installed previously. I'm going to uninstall this previous Angular CLI which I have installed, and I'm going to install the specific version. Guys, now you are going to get another tip how to install the CLI kind of thing based on the specific version is you should use @angular/CLI again @15.2.4. So this is going to make sure to install the oldest version of Angular CLI. Oldest, not like much oldest, but it is somewhat oldest, which is going to support the current Node.js which I have. So instead of changing the Node.js, because we have already worked on a lot of project on the Node.js, I don't want to change the complete Node.js again. Instead, I just downgraded the Angular CLI a bit with the help of uninstalling the oldest Angular CLI and installing some of the stable version like 15.2.4. So I'm just going to install that. And once it has been installed, that once you guys have installed, now it's time to create a new to-do app. It will work right now. Guys, do you really love this kind of error-based learning? So this is the very important thing. Whenever you are facing an error, try to go through the error, what the error you have got, and trying to find out the solution then after. Okay, and most of the time, I'm also trying to cover all the errors which I'm getting into the content. So I'm just incorporating the error with the content. I hope you really love this. So now, once we have installed the CLI, yes, we guys have installed the somewhat downgraded version of Angular CLI. And once it has been done, now it's time to create a new app. So ng space, new space, my -to-do -app. So I'm creating a new to-do application, not like specifically to-do application. Like we are creating a new application with the help of the command ng space new space the app name. Now it is asking me, would you like to add Angular routing? Guys, as I've already told you a very important point about the Angular. Angular is a framework which is gonna have everything pre-built, set of rules and everything which has been already pre-built. You need to change your code based on that platform called framework. That's what the difference between framework and the library, right? We guys have discussed about that. Library is the flexibility, so you can change your code any way. That is all possible. But whenever we're talking about the framework, it is a set of rules and regulations. So you need to optimize or you need to change your code based on that platform called framework. So Angular is a framework, right? And that's why now it is asking me, do we really need routing or not? Guys, you guys tell me whether we really need a routing. Of course, yes. Because I hope you all remember, in the previous React application, we have three menus: home, about us, to do. So when people are clicking home, so it is like a normal slash. When people are clicking the to do and localhost colon 3000 slash to do. When people are clicking about us, localhost colon 3000 slash about us. That is what you'll be routing. So when people are clicking it, so based on that, you need to route to the different page or different view, something. So that's why it is asking me whether you really need a routing. Of course, yes. So I'm just going to put Y and then enter. And now it is asking me which style sheet format would you like to use. Guys, as we guys have already explored about the SAS, and again another SAS like SCSS and also less. Now I am very comfortable with CSS right now. I think like majority of the people were. So that's why instead of choosing other things, so you can press down arrow to select anything. Now I'm going to select CSS and hit enter. And now based on the options we are choosing, it is going to create a application for us. Ta-da! Just look how that source is one of the folder. Even it created an assert folder. Even it created an app kind of folder. So guys, is it really clear? So it automatically, it is creating an files and folders, everything which is needed for our project. Okay, that is how you can able to create an application in Angular. So previously, I hope you all remember how we have created a React application with the help of Create React app. Now, same as like we have created a Angular application with the help of ng space new space app name. That's how we are really installing. And now another very important thing while working on this Angular application, in your project, do you remember there is one box like add task box where you will be adding whatever the task, like go for shopping, doing a video editing, whatever the task you need to add, you will be adding there, and you'll be clicking one button called add task button. That is a form, right? Which is having a text box, which is having a placeholder, which is having a button. That's what the form, right? So that's why we really need this package called Angular forms. So that is also we need to install. Okay, so until then we'll wait until it really completing creating the Angular application for us. Once it completed installing or creating an Angular application, and then we need to install the Angular forms. And same as like whenever you are really checking out the React application, I hope you all know how to what to say how to run the React application. So to run the React application, we might have used this command called npm space start, right? You already know. Same as like if you really want to if you want to run an Angular application, you can run the command like ng space serve. Guys, is it really? Do you really love this? Whenever you are comparing one versus another, you will be getting a very good idea on each and every different frameworks, and from that you can choose your favorite or which is easy to develop kind of thing. You can just choose on your own. So now, after waiting for a few minutes, we guys have got our application which is ready to use. Okay, so look out that it just posted the message like successfully initialized the Git. So this shows that packages everything installed successfully. So now it's time to install the Angular forms. So to do that, I've just copied that command and I'm just going to paste npm space install @angular/forms. So whenever you're hitting enter, that packages, oh my god, I'm sorry. So wait a minute. So why it is so is because we need to go into the folder first, because now we are in the Angular directory. So now we need to go into the app first. So cd space a tab, so my to do app. So once you have gone into the tab application, I want to execute this npm space install space Angular form, so that we will be installing that certain packages into your Angular application. So now it is also been done. So we guys have installed the Angular forms part into it. And now whenever I'm executing, if you really want to run the application, you can execute it with the help of ng space serve. If it is a React application, you need to run npm space start. If it is an Angular application, you need to run it with the help of ng space serve. So whenever you are executing it, so that application which is going to be starting up very soon, so that I'll be showing you right now. Now it's time to create our application which we guys have built as same as like in our React. So what is the first step we guys have, actually what is the second step we have did? Once you have created the React application, basic React application, we have started creating a components, right? Same as like now we need to create the components for our Angular application. That is what gonna be our step number 2. Now let us wait and watch. Just see here, now it is generating a browser application bundles. Okay, so it is still under the process of showing you the application. So once it's shown, now then it's time to move on to adding a components. Okay, so it got compiled successfully, and now it's just given you the localhost address. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this address and I'm going to open my browser and I'm just going to get this. Okay, so this is what it is all about, and whenever you're executing it, This is what the basic Angular application. You can see my to-do app is running and learn Angular, the basic output. So same as like the React, it is also showing the default homepage of an Angular. So this is how you can able to create an Angular application and see the output. Now it's time to work on creating our application. Okay, and I hope you guys are ready. So while talking about the components, I hope you already know what all the components are there, like header, footer, home, to-do list, about page, and etc. And what is the speciality is it is gonna create the basic files, everything which has been needed. So you don't want to create it everything manually. For an example, if you want to create a header component, you can use the command ng space generate space component slash header, where that components need to be created inside the components folder. So whenever you are really executing this command ng space generate space component slash header, just carefully watch at the left hand side. Now we don't have any components folder or something, but after executing it, it will automatically create the component folder, and it will automatically create the header folder, and inside the header folder it will automatically create the files it is really required. Okay, is it clear, guys? And make sure you are in the to do app. Now let me refresh and let me check. So in the app, it created one folder called components folder. Inside the components folder, you can see it created a header folder. So in that header folder, it created header.component CSS file, header.component HTML file, header.component spec file, spec.ts file, and header.component TS file, again, TypeScript file. And now, since because it is not having any like very tedious or very high functional kind of a process, so we are really okay with the basic HTML and CSS. So now, guys, it is going to be very bigger program, guys. So that's why I'm going to paste the code one by one, and I'm going to close once we have done that. So now the first component is header.component.html. So what it should be displayed in the header component? So in the header component, it should have the title, my to-do list, as a title. And we have created inside the header tag, we guys have created the heading 1. And inside the heading 1, we guys have created a navigation menu. Inside the navigation menu, we have created another list. So later we can disable that, the dot, that bullets and all. But right now we have defined that UL, another list. And inside another list, we guys have defined the list of like home, router link is slash. And we'll be working on the router later, don't worry, but we are defining it just right now. And then again, anchor tag with the list tag. So router link is equals to to do, which is a to-do list. That's the second menu for your navigation bar. And third thing, which is again the list tag and anchor tag, which is for an about. So about is also being created. This is how we have did. So header open and header close. This is what for the HTML. And for the same one component, there automatically it will create the CSS file for you. Do you really love this? Guys, do you really love this? Is what the framework is. It will automatically create whatever you really need. So you need to just change your code based on the system which it already created. Look at that headers background color and color, which is like FFF, and padding and text align. And I hope you already know the CSS, guys. So I don't want to go very in depth on it because you already know. So for the navigation menu, under the list, what are the things, because list style is none, so that bullet will be disappeared. So for each and every list we are creating inside the navigation menu. And navigation of anchor tag, for the anchor tag, what is the color and what is the text decoration. And whenever you are hovering that navigation menu, that text will be underlined. I hope you all remember the previous session, guys. Those people who haven't completed the previous session, please go and complete the previous session and then come here, because so then you will be getting a clear idea about it. Even if you wanted to see the output, okay, so I can show you. Okay, demo on React, because this is the same application which we have created with the help of the React. Now we are doing the same thing with the help of an Angular. That's the only difference. Okay, so let me run the application and let me show you an output. So just so that you'll be getting an idea how that application is going to looks like. Okay, it is gonna be exiting it. Yes, starting the development server. And yes. So, tada, this is what the application we have created with the help of React. And carefully watch, the background of the header needed to be, the white color. Oh, sorry, the dark gray color. That's what the triple three. And font color should be white. That's what the font color, which is triple F, which is like white color. And three navigation menu, home, to-do list, about. So all the three navigation menu initially should be white. And whenever you are really hovering it, the text decoration we have made as an underline. Okay, whenever you are hovering with the mouse, that's what underline. So that's what, guys, I'm showing it in the React. It is not an Angular app, just for demo, just to understand how we really writing this code. So that's to make it clear. So that's why I've already shown you this. So now we have completed the header component. In that header component, it should have this my to-do list, title, and three menus for your navigation bar. So all these things we guys have completed in the components now. Now it's time to go for the next component called a footer component. Okay, so we need to create one by one component. So initially it won't be there in like components like footer or something. So to bring up the footer, now we need to generate the footer component. Ng space generate space component slash footer. And whenever you are hitting enter for it, now it will create another folder called footer folder inside the components folder. So now you can see header is one of the component and footer is the another component. So for footer also, there will be a HTML file, CSS file, TypeScript file, spec.tai, TypeScript file, and etc. And now I'm going to open both my HTML and CSS file right now. Okay, so this is what my HTML file, footer.html file. So I've already given the code for it. Footer, in the footer, it's gonna have a very simple content, right? I hope you all remember. So footer open, footer close. Inside that, paragraph tag and 2024 my to-do list. So likewise, we guys have created a simple footer because I hope you already know this is what the footer content is. So that's why we have made it very simple text. And if you want to add a CSS for that footer, so that's also going to be added right here. Okay, just open your code and go to the footer CSS and footer's background, which is going to be dark gray color, and footer color, which is going to be, font color, which is going to be white, and padding, which is 1 rem, and text alignment is center, and position is absolute, and bottom is 0, and width is equals to 100%. So it's going to occupy this complete thing. So this is what we guys have defined it for footer. This is the second component we have created. Same as like we need to create one by one components. So the third component, which is a home component. So what is the thing which is needed to be present in the home component, guys? Do you remember? In the home component, it should have only two things, two line. One is a h1 tag, h2 tag, welcome to to-do list application. And second, paragraph tag, manage your task efficiently. That's what the same thing. And now once you have created, here it created the home tab, which is having home.html and so which is going to have home.css. So once it got this two things, two files, one is home.html file, another one is home.css file. Let me add the content for it. Let me add the code for it. So now I'm not going to do anything with the CSS. If you wanted to do, you can just do yourself. But in the application, I haven't did. That's why I'm not doing here as well. In the React also, I haven't did. That's why I'm not doing in Angular as well. So I'm going to add simply heading to tag like welcome to to-do list app, and paragraph tag, manage your task efficiently and effectively. So likewise, we guys have to add a two line for our home component. So likewise, we have completed creating a third component. Okay, one by one we are doing it, guys. We have created the header component, footer component, and home component, and then we'll go for the next component called about component. So while talking about the about component, so this is what the command you need to execute. So ng space generate space component slash about. So whenever you're hitting enter, so about component will be created again. And for that about component, so whatever the code it need to have, so you just wanted to include that. So let me execute and let me wait. Okay. So about component has also been created. For that about, here we have the component, I mean about HTML file. And in that about component, so what is going to be the output, guys? It is also again h2 tag and one paragraph tag. So that's why about this page is going to be under the h2 tag, and this is a simple to-do list application built using Angular. So that is what the paragraph tag we guys have added. So about component has also been completed. And finally, we'll be moving on to the very important component called the to-do component, because that to-do component, which is the place where all the to-do task, everything which is going to be handled. So that's why we are moving on to the to-do component. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create the to-do component first. Ng space generate space component space component slash to-do. So this is what we are going to execute. So whenever you are executing it, so to-do component will be created. And in the to-do component, we need to create multiple files, multiple TypeScript files, because one is responsible for multiple, not like multiple TypeScript file. It is like one for HTML, another one is for CSS, another one is for TypeScript. Because you really know, right? Because on the HTML, on the home component, in the footer component, in the header component, in the about us component, these component doesn't has any other detailed functionality. But to do component is very, very important, where it is having a lot of functions need to be done, because not only like printing this. So when people are typing like this, people are clicking at something needed to be appended. Even those people are entering another information that need to be appended as a second line. And again, if you are entering it, that need to be appended as like a third line. And when people are deleting a certain task, that need to be appended like this. So this is all needed to be done. It is having a real it is having a lot of functional thing which is needed to be done. That's why in other component we haven't worked on the TypeScript, but in this component we need to work on the TypeScript. So before directly jumping onto the TypeScript, now let us complete the HTML component. So HTML for the to do. Okay, to do component HTML. So this is what I'm sorry. So to do HTML. So in the HTML, it's gonna be very simple. Okay, just carefully watch. It is having to do list as a heading 2. Heading 2 does to do list, and then it should have a one box called input box. So input box of ng model is equals to task. What does it mean? Whatever the text which you are typing in here, everything which is going to be kept in this kind of variable like task. And placeholder is added to task, because whenever nothing is being typed inside this text box, it should add a new task kind of text which is need to be written inside that square box. So that's what the placeholder is. And after that, we guys have created a button like add task button. So that's what button of click is equals to add to do. Whenever people are clicking at that button, it should call the function like add to do function. So that's what the add task button which we guys have created. And after the add task, we are going to create an unordered list, because all the tasks which is going to be listed as like a bullet points, and li space and star of ng for. What does it mean? It is nothing but you need to read the list of to-dos and it should print all the list. Is it clear? So to-do.text, what does it mean by that? The description of your to-do list. So that is what to-do.text. So even if you are given 5 number of to-do task, you need to render one by one. So it is like a array of list of each and every to-do task which you have created. So every task which is needed to be added one by one. So that is what it's all about. So here we guys are given to-do dot text. So that is nothing but the description. Number one is DSADS and ASDASD, something like that. So it is going to read one by one to-do from to-dos. To-dos is the list of the list of to-do list which we guys have created, and to-do is one by one to-do list which we are going to read from it. And that's description which we are going to print like this. And after that, we need to create a button to delete that certain to do. So delete. So for the delete, click if whenever people are clicking delete. So it is going to call the function like delete to do function by passing to do ID as an argument, because when people are clicking delete the first, deleting the first to do list, it should not delete the fifth list or third list or second list. It should delete the respective to do list. So that's why delete to do of to do.id, so that whenever people are clicking that delete, so that certain specific to do which is going to be deleted. So with the help of by passing into the delete to do function that I'll be showing you very soon. So likewise, we guys have created the structure within this to do component.html. And for that, you might have already observed that delete button, which is in the red color, kind of some styling need, which has been already applied. So that's why we are opening the to do.css into it, and carefully watch for the input box. What is going to be the padding and margin hyphen right? What is mean by input box, guys? This is what the input box is. Okay, this black color border box. So that's the input box. For that, we guys have applied the CSS. And for the button, so what is the button is? This add task is the button. We guys have changed the color is like a gray color, and another list and normal list and button. So another button which we are going to call it for the delete. So that's what that button we guys have made that as like a red. So everything we guys have included in the CSS to do a decoration. But now it's time to go for components.ts. Okay, so now we are going to open to do.component.ts, and just carefully watch. This is what is been already written previously. Okay, wait a minute. It's just showing some output. Okay, so ng model error. Okay, no worries. Now in the to do component.ts, we are going to bring up some information into it. Okay, just carefully watch. Okay, wait a minute here. Ng model of task, since it isn't unknown, it is a known property of input. Okay, error occurs in the template of components of to do components. Okay, no worries, we can just see that later. So now you can see this is the TypeScript file. In the TypeScript file, we need to define each and everything. For an example, here import of component from Angular core. So from the Angular core, we guys have taken the component as the main import factor. We guys have fetched that. And at the component, so we need to define like selector is app to do. So that's what the app we are creating kind of thing. So selector is app to do. And template URL is dot slash to do dot component dot HTML. That's what we have, dot to do dot component dot HTML. And styles URL is dot slash to do dot component.css, both the files which it got accessed from here. And now export space class to do component task string is empty, because as we have already know, whenever people are really typing some task, initially it should be empty. So that is what the task string is, initially empty. And now whenever it is fetching a to-do list, when people are typing something and hitting enter, so there's a two things. One is that task ID, another one is a task description. When people are typing, I wanted to do video editing or something, so that for the video editing is the description of the task or the text of the task, and for the task it is going to have an ID as well. So that's what. So on the to-dos, it is going to have a two argument. One is an ID, which is going to have, it can be date or something. So it is going to assign a unique ID for each and every task which you are creating. And text, which is nothing but the video editing or photo editing or for going for the shopping, all the string. So everything we guys are made as an empty array. So task is going to save the text which I'm typing, and to-dos, which is going to save the each and every task we are creating. So that's the thing. And now we guys have created the two functions which we have already created in the HTML. I hope you all remember in the HTML, we guys have created this, right? So whenever people are clicking add task button, it should call the add to do function. when people are clicking delete to do, delete function, delete button, it should call the delete to do function. So that for the to function, we need to write the meaning of it, write the answer for it. So add to do function, we guys have opened the add to do function. If there is a task, okay, if the people typed something, because it should not work when people are not typing it. So when people are typed something, if there is some task, so this task or that certain content or something which is going to assign a certain id, like current, it is going to fetch the current date, which is going to be assigned as like an id, and text colon this does task. So what does it mean? So whatever the text which you are typed here, it is going to be assigning a certain specific idea of the current date and time, and then it is going to consider that description as a task. Okay, text of the task. And once it has been pushed into the to-dos, because now we are in the task. Task is nothing but the string which you are typed, as I've already told you, and to-dos is nothing but each and every task we are adding, everything which is going to be appended into it. Once it got appended into the to-dos, we are going to make the existing text to be erased. Okay, so whenever I'm typing image editing add task, once it has been pushed into, actually this is to-dos guys, this is to-dos and this is task. Once it has been pushed into the to-dos, so that input box needed to be empty. So this dot task is gone empty. And when people are clicking delete button, which it already passed an argument of to do id, so that is going to be fetched, that id number which is going to be fetched, and that id which is going to be passed into the filter, so that is going to be removed. I hope you already know this function, right? Those this dot to do's is equals to this dot to do's dot filter of to do shifting to do dot id not equals to id, so which is going to remove that specific to do id. So when people are clicking this one, so that specific id which is going to be find out, and that specific task description which is going to be filtered out from this output. So that is what the to function we have created inside this TypeScript file. So now up to this point of the time, we guys have created all the required components. So what are the components we guys have created? Just carefully watch the program. We guys have created the about component, footer component, header component, home component, to do component. So likewise, we have created all the 5 components. Okay. So this is what we have created, and don't worry about this error. We'll be fixing out very soon. But right now, just carefully watch. We have created all the 5 components. And once the component has been created, now it's time to work on creating a service, because you already know about the state management. So what is meant by state management? Here, when people are typing something and when people are clicking add task, the page should not get refreshed completely. Instead, every task which we are really typing in and clicking add, that task need to be appended to the previous task list we already have. So that is why we really going for the state management, or even we guys have already did that same in our React as well. But now we are going to do that state management with the help of RxJS, which is like observable and subject. What is meant by observable and subject is, it's very simple. It is like a YouTube. Okay, those people who have subscribed to a certain channel, whenever they are publishing certain medium or certain video or certain post, that is going to be intimated to all the subscribers. Same as like this. Okay, so observables, like it is going to like a watchdog which is going to see something for any modification or any changes. If there is anything newly added, it is going to be appended into the current page. So to do is the main page, right, which is having index.html or something. So whatever the new list or new to do which is getting added, that needed to be published into that certain page. That's what it's all about. Okay, now we are going to create the service to do that. Even I've given the clear explanation as a as a file like this, guys. You just go and refer it. Even in here you can see to do service class in an Angular is well structured using RxJS behavior subject to manage a list of to do items. Okay, this behavior subject, which is going to be helpful for managing a list of to do items. This service allows others component to subscribe to the list of to dos and reactively update when items are deleted. So even though we are deleting it or adding it, so that needed to be keep on updated, and whether it should be displaying it in the window or not, everything which is going to be determined by that. So that is what this behavioral subject, which is going to be helpful for managing a list of to do. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create the service for it. So what we are going to do is we are going for this command, and instead of generating the component, right now we are going to generate the service. So ng space generate space service space services slash to do. So whenever I'm hitting enter, it will create the services folder right now. So now we are going to simply play with that services program. Now for each and everything I've added the need which you need, just see here. So services folder is also been created. Inside the services folder you need to work on todo.services.cs ts. So now okay, wait a minute, let me so todo.service.ts. Here automatically it created one program. Okay, just carefully watch. Like injectable from Angular core. It is very simple, guys. What is mean by injectable is, here we are creating one service which is here, it is responsible for appending the existing task, or whenever you are adding a task, whenever you are deleting a task, that should be reflected in a main page. So here, whenever you are really defining as like an injectable, so this service component, which is gonna be injected into any component you really want. Are you clear? So that is what the injectable means. Even I think I've given you this doc. Okay, this is observable, those things. But other than that, that's what the injectable is. Injectable, which is going to be helpful for injecting this service into any component you have throughout your application. Okay, so look out that first of all, injectable from Angular core, that's what we guys have defined. And behavioral subject, as we have already know, this is gonna be like it really have some initial value, and it is going to emit its current value whenever it is subscribed to. For an example, if you already posted 5 YouTube videos, and then you are going to put another videos which is going to append to the existing 5 videos as the 6th video, and it is going to show you what is the current value, what is the new value. So likewise, that's what is going to be done with the help of this behavioral subject. And observable is also going to be very, very helpful for to subscribe, look at that to-dos, to-dos observable, the subscriber to get the to-dos method of to-do service and holds the observable list of to-dos, because it should hold all the existing 5 tasks which we are given. So that is all going to be acquired from RxJS package. That's what we have done. Now, initially, whenever you are talking about the to-do, there's a 2 parameter. One is ID, another one is text. You already know this. ID, which is going to be defined as a data type like number, and text, which is going to be defined as a data type like string, because that's what the description. So like go for shopping and video editing, that is all going to be your string. So that's also been added. And now injectable provided in root. What does it mean? We are really injecting into the root folders, because it is responsible for the throughout the whole complete page. So provided in like we are providing like it is like an inlet. So we guys are defined as a root. And now export class, we guys have defined one class called to do service. So that's why even we guys have covered that classes and all on the first part of the session. So we guys are defined as like a private property like to do subject, behavioral subject of to do like is equals to new behavioral subject to do. So what we guys have already discussed, this behavioral subject, which is going to be carry over, those changes of the to do which we are really adding. And even you can see, okay, this is all, to do text, the variable holds the new text for new to do item, and add to do, delete to do method, and templates and those things. But right now it is going to this behavioral subject, which is going to be carrying out that existing to-do list we have, and how it is needed to be appended and those things. So that is what the first initialization we have did for to-do subject. And then to-dos, we guys have made the to-do as a empty array, because hereafter one by one to-do list which is going to be appended into it. Now get to dos, as I've already told you. So observable, which is going to be helpful for holding out the previous existing to dos we have. So everything which is going to be fetched together and it is going to be displayed. That's what the get to dos is. And when people are clicking add to do button, first of all, it is going to assign the current date as an ID, and the text we have for the another variable to display the description of the task which we have. And this dot to do's dot push, guys, it's same as like the React. Okay, what we have done in the React, now we are doing it in the Angular. That's what the only difference. And now we are working on the TypeScript. So this dot to do's dot push. So once you have got all the complete text of the new to do, once you have typed everything, and when people are clicking add task button, it is going to call this add to do function, where that certain specific to do which is going to be pushed into the to do's. As you already know, to do's is nothing but it is going to hold down the list of the to do's. Okay, that's what it's just going to have. And this dot to do dot subject dot next of this to do's. So hereafter, whenever another to do which is going to be appended, which is going to be added as like a next, and further which is going to be appended, which is going to be ready to retrieve the next to do's, next to do, and which is going to be uploaded into the to do's. And now we'll go for the delete. So whenever you're going for the delete, its return, of course, it is also going to be void, because it is nothing going to, it is not, nothing, it is going to return anything. So this dot to do's is equals to this dot to do's dot filter of to do shift operator to do dot id not equal to and equal to id. So I hope you already know, we already did the same thing on our React. So whenever people are clicking delete to do, so that certain specific ID which is going to be found out, and that to do will be filter out from the existing data, and this to do subject dot next of this to do's. So that appending, that that merging together, always it needed to be maintained properly. This complete thing, that state which is all been completely done with the help of this RxJS. So that is what is all about the services. Even I've given you the explanation for it, just go through it. And after, once it has been done, now it's time to implement the routing. I hope you already know the routing is, because when people are clicking a certain component or certain navigation bar, it should be routed properly. So that's why what you need to do is you need to check for the module called app.routing.module.ts. So you just want to check that out. On the left hand side, you can see app.routing.module.ts, which is another file we have as a default. In the default one, it is having Angular core, ng module, and router module. So everything which has been defined here. So now we guys have defining this, ng module, Angular core, and now we are importing all other required components. We guys have imported the home component, we have imported the to do component, we have imported the about component. So likewise, we guys have imported those things, because these three things, don't think like, Sanjay, why you haven't imported the header component? Sanjay, why you haven't imported the header footer component? Because it is not needed to be in the router. So on the routing means when people are clicking home, it should show them the home page. When people are clicking to-do list, it should show them the to-do list page. When people are clicking about, it should show them the about page. So that's why only that three component which it got imported into the core part of the routing.module.typescript file. And constant routes :routes is equals to, we guys are defining three key factor like path, and that three, first thing which is like empty because it's a home page, so we are mapping into the home component, and to do, which is we are mapping into the to do component, and about, we are mapping into the about component. And now ng module of import. So what we are really importing, we are importing router module dot for root of routes. So because like it is the main primary route, even in our first part of the code, we guys are defined that route, so in our main component. So same as like here, while doing about the import, it is going to do the router module of the primary routes. And while talking about the exports, it is going to export the router module, so which we have right now, which has been updated. So previously it is just a normal root router module, but right now we guys have updated these things by adding additional routes for it. One is a empty thing for the home component, another one is for to do for the to do component, and about for about component. Everything which has got updated, now we are exporting the router module. So now it is having all the routing which it got completed. So once the routing has been completed, now it's time to work on the CSS. So what this all about while talking about the CSS and those things is because we really want to add some material, Angular material, because it is going to be helpful for doing a CSS. That I'll be doing it very soon. And now another very important thing, whenever you are talking about app.module.ts, because that is the very important thing, right? Whenever you are checking out app.module.ts, which is the part which is going to have all those informations like um, all the components, how it is needed to be displayed, and etc. So that's why what we are going to do is we are going to simply add the forms into it, because if you really using the forms in your application, you really wanted to add the form into it. So that's why I just copy pasted the code. It's very simple. We guys have imported the ng module with Angular core and browser module, because you need to display everything in your browser, right? So that's why browser module has also been imported. App routing module has also been imported. App.component has also been imported. Guys, now, did you notice this something? How many of you will really notice that? So on the go, we guys have solved one error we guys have got in our components. Did you got it? Okay, is it really great? So once you have modified in your main app.module.ts, that old error got fixed by itself. Okay, is it clear? So because we guys have imported all the modules which we guys have used. Okay, just carefully watch. So here we guys have imported the a routing module, and we guys have imported the app.primary component, because that's the primary component which we guys have already worked on, and header component, footer component, home component, to do component, about component, and finally Angular forms. So everything we guys have imported, and in the ng module, in the Angular module, we guys have declared every components we are using: app component, header, footer, home, to do, about component. And in the import, we guys are primarily importing the browser module, app routing modules, form modules, because these are all out of the scope, out of the components which you are creating. That's why we have put it as like an import of browser module, app routing module, and forms module. And now we'll be going for this bootstrap of app component. Guys, don't think like bootstrap is another new concept which is the bigger thing you need to learn. So that we'll be learning on the upcoming part, don't worry. But other than that, whenever you are seeing here bootstrap is app component, when application is rendering for the first time, which it should focus on. So that is what this app component is. Okay, you'll be checking out the app component very soon. But when you have hit enter, like you're putting the URL, and whenever you're hitting enter, so which it should focus at the primarily as a first beginning or feeding as an input of your whole complete web application, which is needed to be rendered in the browser. So that's what we guys have defined bootstrap as app component. Most of the time it will be an app component, because it is going to be rendered at first. So that's why bootstrap we guys are defined as an app component, and initially providers, which is going to be empty right now, and export class as an app module. So we guys have completed the app module part, and now it's time to modify app component HTML. As I've already told you, app component is the main important thing which is going to be rendering in your output, because whenever you are seeing the output in the Angular, this is what the output we have shown, right? Like the old demo which you might have already shown that. So the default page of Angular. So to avoid that, because we don't want to see the default page of Angular, we want to see our own real application. To see our own real application, we need to modify. Okay, to modify it, so what you just want to modify it, you need to look for app.component.html. Okay, just check out this component, app.component.html. That's what the file. You can see this is the default view of your Angular default view in your application demo. So I'm just going to simply delete everything, and I'm going to simply put this. So app.header, which is a header component which is going to be imported. And then we guys have enabled the router component. Please don't put home component and about us component and to do component, because we have already navigated those three components in through a router. So that's why we guys have defined router outlet and router outlet close, and then finally app footer open and close. So once you have did that, so now it's time to render all these in our output, final output. And now whenever you are hitting ng space serve, so it is going to render our output for us. Okay, so yes, I really can able to understand, guys. Today's session has gone longer because we can't able to skip the TypeScript part. That's why I've just moved on to the TypeScript, and then I just directly came for the application. So yeah, in sometimes you might think, Sanjay, it really looks somewhat longer or bigger than the React, but it is also going to be giving you the study foundation. Whenever if you are talking about the professional companies, those companies, they used to look for the process and the systems need to be very properly need to be followed. Then the time people will be moving on to this kind of frameworks like Angular. So now it got compiled successfully, and now I'm just going to refresh this page. Ta-da! This is what the output we have got, and you can able to see the similarity between this application, the React application, which is the Angular application we have, right? The same header, same footer, and here we have home to-do list. Whenever I'm hovering, something is happening. So here also, whenever I'm hovering, some underline is happening. And same welcome to to-do list app, manage your task efficiently and effectively. Same kind of message which you have printed. And whenever I'm clicking about, so about this app, that message which it got printing, so build using Angular. And whenever I'm clicking about here, so this is a simple to-do application which has been built by using React. And whenever I'm clicking to do here, this is what the to-do list which is being showing for me. And whenever I'm clicking to do here, again it is showing you like this. And here whenever I'm adding a task, and if I'm clicking add task, that task is getting added. And here also whenever I'm adding something and I'm clicking add task, that this task is getting added. Guys, do you love this? So same application we guys have created with the help of an Angular right now, but previously we guys have created the application with the help of React. So this is what the final demo, guys. So how was the application flow is going to be? There is first application initialization, and then component rendering, and then you need to work on routing logic, and then you need to work on incorporating the to-do functionality, and of course the state management, and even sometimes a styling. Okay, so this is what it is all about. Same as like previously in the React also, I forgot to show you the project overview. Just carefully watch. First, initially, it is going to be a project setup, and then it is going to be having a project, component creation, and then it's going to include the state management, and then it is going to be handling the routing, and then finally it is going to have a styling. Say same as like the React JS, we guys have did this application with the help of Angular. I'm sorry. So here you can see the React app. This is the same app which we guys have created with the help of the Angular right now. So what you just do is, guys, please go and refer the TypeScript documentation and learn more in detail about the TypeScript. Try to practice that code, and also try to compare this React and Angular. Even if you have a dual monitor, another monitor, put all the source code in the React at the one monitor, and all the source code in Angular in this primary laptop, and try to compare how we have written the code there, how we have written the code there, how many lines of code we have written in the React, how many lines of code we have written in the Angular to get the same output. So likewise, try to explore those things and go and practice. Okay. And I hope you really love this session. So if you're really loving the series, guys, you just post I love this. Please go and read the documentation. This documentation is also going to be, I'm going to be giving it for you. And another very important thing, please go and do the task. Always remember, knowing and not doing is also going to be always not knowing. Whatever the stuff which you are learning, please go and do it. I can able to sense you that whenever you are learning from this kind of methodology, you might be feeling some difficulty. Sanjay, you are not going in depth on something. You are really going through on the programmatical basics, but we are not going more in depth on the programming, guys, because now we are focusing on application oriented. Now my main motive is to make you to create an application. because whenever you're talking about the JavaScript or the React or Angular, Vue.js, and etc., which is a very huge concept where it really needs more time on exploring those things. So right now we are focusing on parallelly trying to learn programming by reading a documentation, by reading a chat GPT. If you are really stucking out with 5 lines of program, just copy the 5 lines of program, put it in the chat GPT, and ask what it has been done in that code. So it will be getting an output. You just take your notes. So likewise, try to learn, try to read the program, because whenever you started reading a program, you can able to get a very good idea. So don't just dependent on your instructor like me or anyone. Always the syntax will be keep on updating. So if anyone is teaching or the JavaScript on something, so it is not going to be the same for the rest of your life. So it is going to be keep on updating, syntax will be updated. So main number one quality for the developer is reading a documentation. That's a very important thing. So go and read it, and go and study the code which I have given. Go and compare the code, go and read the documentation, go and use the chat GPT to give you the explanation for the certain specific part of the code, and try to take a tons and tons of notes. Go and practice and complete the task. And those people who are all really performing well, we are going to choose some candidates to give some amazing gifts and those things. So, and other than that, I hope you really enjoyed this session. If you really enjoyed this second part of day 21, exploring various frameworks, libraries like React and Angular. And now we are moving on to the third video, which is going to be exploring on Vue. Okay, then after. So thank you so much once again. It's me, Sanjay, signing off. Until then, bye. We'll see you on the tomorrow session.